I'd like to call this meeting of the Westland City Council to order, please. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, tonight led by Jaylee Fogg and Donovan Stockwell Adams, two fourth grade students from Roosevelt Grath Elementary. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you'll stay right there, Councilwoman Green will be right down to talk to you.
All right, how you doing? Good. Well, I'm Councilwoman Tasha Green, and I have the pleasure of doing a short interview with you all so everybody in the city can know just how great you are. And so first we'll speak with Jaylee, and Jaylee Fogg is a fourth grade student in Mrs. Dane's class. Is that correct? All right, and Jaylee comes from a family almost as big as mine, my goodness. All right, so Jaylee says in her family she has herself, Cam, Leah, her mom, Misty, 2 sisters, 6 aunties, 4 uncles, Granny and Grampy, 12 cousins, and Mrs. Leto. Did we leave anybody out?
No.
All right. Jaylee's favorite food is pickles, sugar, and snap peas, and watermelon. You know, when my daughter was your age, I could not convince her to eat snap peas for anything in the world, so kudos to Mom. Her favorite subject in school is math and writing, and her favorite hobbies at home is rainbow loom, drawing, singing, and sign language. So what's your favorite song, Jaylee?
It Isn't in My Blood from Shawn Mendes.
Oh, Shawn Mendes. Okay. Do you care to sing anything tonight, or you want to save something for next time?
I'm scared.
That's okay. We'll let you off the hook this time. I'm sure you sing really well. All right, so I'm going to switch places, and now we'll hear about the marvelous Donovan Stockwell Adams. And Donovan is also a fourth grade student at Roosevelt McGrath Elementary, and Donovan is in Mrs. Bosch's class. In Donovan's family, he has 2 brothers, 2 sisters, mom and dad, stepmom and stepdad. Did I leave anybody out?
Yes.
Who did we leave out?
My grandma, Kimmy, and Grandma Terry.
Okay, and they're both here tonight, yes?
Yes.
Yes, awesome. Donovan's favorite food is pickles. Oh, excuse me, nope, that's the wrong one. Donovan's favorite food is one of my favorites, nachos. And in school, his favorite subjects are gym and art, and his favorite hobby in school is video games when he's allowed. Sounds good. And I'd like everyone to know that Donovan wanted to recite the pledge tonight because he wants to join the Army to protect our country and our people when he grows up. That's awesome, Donovan. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. All right, well, we are ecstatic to have you both here today. Like to ask you to keep up the good work on behalf of City Council and our mayor. I have 2 certificates to present to both of you. And at this time, I invite the parents, family, and the principal to come up for comments and a nice picture. And yeah, you can. Okay. All right, there we go. Any comments from the principal?
No, the kids did a really nice job, and thank you very much for your invitation today.
Awesome. How about the family? Anyone would like to say anything tonight before we take the picture?
We're all very proud of her. Very
Awesome.
proud. Good kids.
As are we. All right, I think we're ready. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green. Councilman Hart. Councilman Hammonds. Councilman Herzberg. Councilman Johnson. Councilman Londo.
Here.
President Godbout.
Present.
A quorum is present.
We'll begin with announcements and presentations. Mike?
Hello. My name is Mike Sintz. I'm not only a Westland resident, but I'm a Westland Comets football coach and the parent of 2 Comet cheerleaders. On behalf of the Comets, I would like to thank the administration for the support to the Westland Comets this past season. We would like to present these plaques to Mayor Wild and Councilman Mike Londo for their individual efforts this past year. The mayor has been a huge help in bridging the gap between our organization and the city. Mike has been an amazing volunteer over the past few years, giving up whole days at a time to announce our home games and other various volunteer efforts. I think I even seen him selling hot dogs for us a few times. Our organization could not do the things we do without the help from people like them, and we just wanted to show our appreciation. Thank you. Thank all of you.
Look at this.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, don't go away, Mike. Well, I want to just tell you that on behalf of the city of Westland, we are so fortunate that we have the incredible sports teams that we have. And, you know, just this week, there was a lot of attention that was drawn to the Westland Meteors, and they represented the city at a recent World Championship game. But the Comets, you guys have had an incredible season yourself, and it's so exciting. Most communities don't have one of these type of programs. We actually have 2, and I've been a pleasure to watch. You know, the Comets have been around for a long time. I remember when I was growing up in the city of Westland, the Comets were always an incredibly tough team to beat. So you guys have continued that legacy. It was an honor to get closer to you guys through our Parks and Recreation Department and find out more about what you needed to, you know, to build up our fields and give you the tools that you needed to put together a great program. And we're hoping to continue that partnership. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And go Comets.
Yes.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. We'll probably display this in the mayor's office.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Councilman Landau would like to say a few words too.
I'll be brief. I'll echo the mayor's comments as well, and I know you've been a great mentor towards my nephew, Cash. He was his coach, so I appreciate everything you've done for him and all the children. And it was a nice touch. I see you put the cheerleader bow on here. You got the 2 cheerleader daughters, so we appreciate it. And like I said, I told you a year or 2 ago, anything you ever need from the city, please reach out to us. So thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for your
Appreciate
support.
it. No problem. Thank you.
We'll move on to citizens' questions or input on the agenda. Citizens will be recognized before the business of the meeting commences to address the council pertaining to items that are specifically on the business agenda. Citizens are asked to limit their questions or input to 3 minutes. Is there anyone on my left?
It
Yes,
has to be something that's on the agenda.
on the agenda.
Is there going to be a comment?
Yeah, at the end of the meeting. Yes.
My name's Jim Godfroy, and I would wonder on K and L on the agenda, does that mean the city has the right to fill holes in the roads in Westland? You know, the state roads or the county roads like Ford Road or Wayne Road, does that open it up so we can fix those roads, pots in those holes? K and L?
Yeah,
Is it?
We'll get that answered for you when it comes up on the agenda.
Okay.
Anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Anyone else in the audience? Mr. Graham?
Richard Graham from Westland and also with Move Westland Forward. Regarding items G and H in the consent calendar. Item G, regarding the continuation of the grant writing agreement with the City of Westland. Many residents, including myself, see this as a huge conflict of interest where Westland and Wayne would be going after the same grants and the company is basically playing both sides. Why do we continue to take a back seat to Wayne? Norserini was Wild's campaign manager when he lost his Wayne County election run. Norserini is also the Wayne City manager. And during these council meetings, she often says about all the hard work she is doing for the city of Wayne, bringing in all the grant money. We have been told that our grant writer is really her employee, and not even her. Her employee never speaks at our council meeting, stating all the great grants Westland is getting, like you hear her say at the Wayne council meetings. Move Westland Forward has done the research, spoke to cities in Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Michigan. She is very much overpaid and underperforms for the amount of grants she wins for Westland. Comparable cities bring in millions and millions every year. The person in Pennsylvania laughed when I told him how much she makes versus how much she brings in. This city, smaller than Westland, brought in close to $6 million in less than 3 years. You will see in your council packet, in 2018, she only brought in $635,000, and almost half of this was also applying to 2017. Our money being spent on a wild political ally. People ask what Move Westland Forward's plan. If you research this, you will see that an alternative idea is to hire a person full-time and then pay them less per year, but earn a commission on the grants they receive. It keeps them being aggressive and wanting to do more. Regarding item H, regarding the wayfinding signs along Ford Road, which is a state road, it appears 8 more signs are going up along this 3-mile stretch within Westland. Many, many citizens have voiced their concerns about these signs and the tax dollars from businesses and residents within the DDA and Tifa. We even hear the company that's installing them is from Ohio. What is the cost for these 8 signs? Since the city is now responsible for these areas, what are the yearly and ongoing costs? Thank you.
Anyone on my left? Anyone up? Blake?
I will make a comment about that agenda item. I think that is really unsenseless to talk about a sign that shows where our city values are. So I just think that that's something that should never be an issue to debate about a sign. I mean, they have a business, they worked with us, and they got their business done. So point blankly, I just don't see the point of anyone complaining about a sign that shows directions to the part of the city. So I can comment on that because I have been talking with my mentor on that, and that just doesn't point blankly makes a battle to even launch a debate or anything. It's senseless to me.
One on my right. Right?
I always support the police department, but when it comes down to signs, sometimes I don't know if they're new or what. But traffic control ordinance 201802, place 1, no parking, no stopping, no sign on the south side of Ambadale Street, just west of the crosswalk, and Rochester Street. So I'd just like to have an answer about that. Thank you.
Anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? Anyone else in the audience? We'll close citizens' comment and move on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Landau. Is there support? Council.
But I would like to move item G to 1A if I could, please.
Okay, move item G to 1A. You gonna bring up the other? Councilman Hersberg?
Thank you. I'd like to amend the language for item P to remove the wording deputy mayor.
All right. There any other questions on the, Mr. Fasson?
You have the maker and seconder not in agreement, at least as to the change in.
They did.
Did they? I'm sorry, I missed that. Thank you.
Okay.
To that change?
To what?
I didn't address that.
Okay.
You wanted to make a motion
To remove deputy mayor from item
P.
P?
I see that, but that has nothing to do with the motion to approve the agenda items.
It's a friendly amendment.
Right now, yeah, we're just, right now, we've moved item, what was it? G to 1A, and now there's a motion to delete the reference to the deputy mayor from item P. Are the maker and supporter of the motion in favor of that? Okay. There any, Councilwoman Green?
Yeah, I'd just like clarification on the reason for the recommended change that Councilman Hersberg is recommending for item P. It wasn't discussed with council, so I'd just like to clarify the reason.
Who's from the administration? P? Mr. Smith?
Yeah. So item P, basically, GASB 54 is an accounting standard. It establishes different fund balance kind of buckets or classifications, non-spendable, restricted, committed, assigned, and unassigned, and it's what's in the financial statements. As part of the audit for the June 30, 2018, the one that the auditors are working on right now, it was identified that the need for the city to assign fund balance. In the past, the city has not had the need to assign fund balance on the statements as of June 30, 2018. And GASB 54 requires council to approve, to delegate the authority to assign fund balance to a specific individual or individuals. And in this case, that delegation is recommended for the mayor, finance director, and budget director as of June 30, 2018.
Mr. Smith?
Through the chair to Councilwoman Green, the deputy mayor was put in there by mistake, so that was not part of the original recommendation.
Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Smith. It was a typo that got by when we put it in, so that's all we were doing is asking to take that part out. So.
Thank you for clarifying.
Is there any other discussion on the consent calendar? There were a couple questions on item K and L. Hassan?
Thank you. Through the chair, with reference to item K, this is our annual permit to maintain our assets in the MDOT road right-of-way. It's not intended to do any work on MDOT assets. So it means that if there is any water main break or any sewer that we need to take care of within the road right-of-way, say Ford Road, then we don't have to go back and ask for individual permit. We could do emergency work under this annual blanket permit. So we're not going to spend money on the MDOT assets. It's just to take care of our own infrastructure within the MDOT right-of-way. This, by the way, is similar to items L, M, and N, where we have the similar maintenance agreement with Wayne County to do similar work within their road right-of-way. Not to fix their roads, but to take care of our infrastructure systems within their roads. If for any chance that we cut their road open, then obviously we have responsibility to bring it back to original condition.
Then on item H on the wayfinding signage?
Item H refers to 8 wayfinding signs within the Ford Road right-of-way. That's not intended to be new signs. Those are original signs that were part of the package that was approved by the council. But we were waiting for MDOT permit. Approval of this item would allow us to do the work within Ford Road right-of-way.
Thank you. Is there any discussion from the council? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
Council has approved the following consent calendar items. Minutes of the regular meeting held December 3, 2018. Request from Motown Harley Owners Group, Chapter 4357, to conduct their annual toy run on Sunday, September 22, 2019. Traffic Control Order 2018-02, place 1, no parking, no stopping, no standing sign on the south side of Avondale, just west of the crosswalk at Worcester Street. Place 1, no parking, no stopping, no standing sign on the south side of Avondale, just east of the drive for P.D. Graham Elementary School. Place 1, no parking, no stopping, no standing sign on the south side of Avondale, just west of the driveway for P.D. Graham Elementary School. Place 1, no parking, no stopping, no standing sign on the south side of Avondale, just east of South John Hicks Road. Approval of bid for purchase of stage for various city events. Administration recommended the low bidder, State Right Corporation, amount not to exceed $17,164. Approval of bid for Norwayne Boxing Gym Locker Room Addition Project. Administration recommended the low bidder, Meridian Contracting Group, amount $70,651. Approval of contract with Brain Media Technology for management of the Jefferson Barnes Learning Lab, amount $38,000. Item G was moved to 1A. Approval of MDOT contract 185515 for the purpose of fixing the rights and obligations of the parties and agreeing to the maintenance and operation of wayfinding signs installed along Highway 153, Ford Road, and all other necessary related work. The mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute the contract on behalf of the city. Introduction of ordinance 248A90, an ordinance to amend ordinance 248 to show CB3 district classification, where CB1 is now shown in the area situated in the city of Westland, commonly known as the southwest corner of Ford Road and Hicks Road. Planning Department number 2223. This rezoning was approved by City Council on November 19, 2018. Adoption of ordinance 29W2624, an ordinance to amend Chapter 46, Sections 461, 49C2 of the Westland City Code to amend the rates for industrial waste control charges. This item was introduced December 3, 2018. Adoption of prepared resolution approving the State of Michigan annual permit for the state right-of-way, which would allow the City of Westland Department of Public Service the ability to enter into an agreement with MDOT to construct, operate, and/or use the state highway right-of-way area on roads under the state's jurisdiction within the City of Westland. The Public Services Director, Neighborhood Services Director, Superintendent of Water, the Mayor, and/or City Clerk are authorized to apply to MDOT for the necessary permit to work within state highway right-of-way on behalf of the city. Adoption of prepared resolution approving Wayne County Annual Pavement Restoration Permit A19128, authorizing the City of Westland to apply to the County of Wayne Department of Public Services Engineering Division Permit Office for permits to occupy Wayne County Road right-of-way to conduct pavement repairs and restorations. The Public Services Director, Neighborhood Services Director, Superintendent of Water, the Mayor, and/or City Clerk are authorized to apply to the County of Wayne Department of Public Services Engineering Division Permit Office for the necessary permit to work within county road right-of-way of local roads on behalf of the city. Adoption of prepared resolution approving Wayne County Annual Permit for Special Events, A19158, authorizing the City of Westland to apply to the County of Wayne Department of Services, Public Services, Engineering Division Permit Office for permits to occupy Wayne County Road rights-of-way to temporarily close a county road for a reasonable length of time for a parade, marathon, festival, or similar activity, to use a county road as a detour for traffic around such activity taking place on a non-county road, or to place a temporary banner within the county right-of-way. The Public Services Director, Neighborhood Services Director, Superintendent of Water, the Mayor, and/or City Clerk are authorized to apply to the County of Wayne Department of Public Services Engineering Division Permit Office for the necessary permit to work within county road right-of-way of local roads on behalf of the city. Adoption of prepared resolution approving Wayne County Annual Maintenance Permit A19073, authorizing the City of Westland to apply to the County of Wayne Department of Public Services Engineering Division Permit Office for permits to occupy Wayne County Road rights-of-way to conduct sanitary sewer inspection repairs and maintenance, and routine maintenance, water main inspections, repairs and routine maintenance, dust palliative, calcium and salt applications, sidewalk repairs and replacements, and street sweeping operations during daylight hours only. Public Services Director, Neighborhood Services Director, Superintendent of Water, the Mayor, and/or City Clerk are authorized to apply to the County of Wayne Department of Public Services Engineering Division Permit Office for the necessary permit to work within the county road right-of-way of local roads on behalf of the city. Approval of request to reprogram CDBG, home, and NSP funds as follows. From rental rehabilitation, $10,000, Norwayne demolition, $15,000, Norwayne Parks, $5,000, to Jefferson Barnes Learning Lab in the amount of $30,000. Approval to delegate authority to assign fund balance accounting standards board statement number 54 as of June 30, 2018 to the mayor, finance director, or budget director. Last item on the consent calendar, adoption of prepared resolution authorizing the disposition of two properties, 32018/32020 Sheboygan Court and parcel number 560830-2003-3303 on Annapolis, acquired through the Neighborhood Stabilization Community Development Block Grant and Home Programs to the adjoining property owners and/or eligible home buyers. The mayor and city clerk are authorized to sign the quitclaim deed for these properties on behalf of the city, and the Director of Housing and Community Development is authorized to sign the closing documents for the sale of these properties on behalf of the city. We are finally moving to new business. Item 1A, which is item G. Give me one moment. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Item 1A, approval of Nasserini Strategy Group LLC consulting agreement for grant and government relations services for the city of Westland. The contract shall begin on January 2, 2019, and will expire on January 2, 2020. The fee associated with this agreement shall not exceed $6,000 per month and authorizes the mayor and city clerk to execute on behalf of the city.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilman Landau. Councilman Johnson?
Thank you. I would like to state that my request to move this to 1A had nothing to do with the comments that were made earlier. I have talked to the administration and Ms. Nasserini earlier tonight. I would request that part of this contract would also say, and she's agreed that she's in favor of it, to come before council quarterly and give quarterly reports as to her activities. I think that'll clear up some thoughts that nothing's getting done, because I know, and I think everybody up here knows, some cities are eligible for grants that some are not. Wayne may be eligible for a lot more just because of their finances. And I just think this will give it transparency and people will actually know what's going on.
Thank you. Chief?
Thank you. In regards to the police department, I'd just like to extend my support for the Narcerini group. Using this group, I don't have to pull command officers or police officers off the road to research and write grants. And with this group already, we've obtained 4 police officers off of our COPS grant. On 2 different occasions, we've got mobile radios through the Wayne County grant. We're currently waiting on a grant to come back for LiDARs and radar units for our police department. So I just wanted to, in regards to the police department, express my support for the program.
Thanks, Chief. Councilwoman Green? All set? Is there any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
New business, item 1, approval of the 2019 appointed officials and mayor's office pay plan for the period of January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2019.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilman Hammonds. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
New business, item 2, approval of the 2019 city clerk's benefit package for the period of January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2019.
Motion by Councilman Landau, supported by Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
New business, item 3, approval of the 2019 deputy city clerk's wage and benefit package for the period of January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2019.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilman Hersberg. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously. I would like for next year to see if we can have all of these pay plans combined into a single document. There's been some confusion over the past few years in regards to what's in which document, what pay scales are in each document, and they refer from one document to the other. So I would like to see that next year we have an elected and appointed officials plan come before us as a combined document so that all of the references are in a single location instead of 3 separate documents that refer to Appendix A in this document, even though it's in a different document. So let's see what we can do to try and get this all combined so that there's some commonality between all of them. Councilman Johnson?
If I might, I would agree with that. You're talking about how some departments are bracketed with other departments and they receive this pay. That would probably clarify a lot of things because you're right, it is all over the place and there's different pay rates, and maybe if we get them all on one sheet of paper, it will clear it up. Thanks.
Thanks.
New business, item 4, approval of voucher.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Hammonds. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilman Landau. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously. We'll move on to citizens' comments or requests. Citizens will be recognized at the end of the meeting immediately following the agenda item approval of vouchers. Citizens are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. All citizens wishing to speak will be heard. Is there anyone on my left? Vic?
Thank you, Council. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but the meteors took it all in. They nailed it. We are world champions, City of Westland, our kids, and the pride is just bouncing off all of them and all of us. So, kind of short notice, we're announcing that there is a football watch party scheduled for tomorrow night at the Wayne Ford Civic League. All of the kids, coaches, and parents will be there. The meteors asked me to reach out to all of you and the community, that anybody that would like to come up, we're going to have pizza, pop, beer for the adults. to come join. It is going to be televised on our big screen TVs at the Civic Center. It starts at 8. I believe the 12U champions from the tournament will be the first to be aired on the TVs, and that'll be followed by the meteor. So you'll actually get to watch the football game right there on the big screens at the Wayne Ford. So they wanted me to let you know they would love for you all to be there. They haven't forgotten, so you know, the love that the city showed the Meteors after they won the regional tournament, and they just want to see you there. So if you can make it, come on up. Thank you.
What time was that again, Vic?
8 o'clock, we'll be there, but if you get there early, I'll keep the doors open.
Anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Blake?
Okay, I'll make this really short. I wanted to say, it was really nice to attend and help plan for Councilwoman Tasha Green's Health Summit. It was really nice. It was good to really see my colleagues with disability resources, Paul Johnson and Amy Bennett. Second to that, I know I've talked a lot about the Disability Concern Board, and I know that I have been referring to a FOIA request that was made from Mayor Cicerelli, who put the disability concern in place. And there are very questions and issues that I have voiced, and people think that the concern board should be changed. So I'm just going to read this one from section ordinance number 25/3/1115, section 45483, creation of membership. There is created in the office of the mayor a committee on the disability concerns that shall consist of a minimum of 7 members and a minimum of 3 members who shall serve without compensation and to be appointed by the mayor in the according chapter. And a list of 2 shall be members that are persons with disabilities covered by the ADA. So my first question is, if it says that members should not receive compensation, how is that something in guidelines? There's nothing new saying that they are allowed to receive compensations. And my second question is, if the leaderships are supposed to both have disabilities, I don't know if Don has a disability covered by the ADA because I don't know his health records, so I can't say that he doesn't have a disability. But it's just a question, and there are various questions and things that should be discussed. As I had spoken with Mayor Cicerelli, she really says I have really good points. I've I was supposed to have a meeting with the mayor, but I had an interview video because we were doing disability voting awareness, and they wanted me to come the day before the election. So I just think that there's a lot of things that should be adjusted and looked at because of the community, the mental health changes, the inclusion voices. So basically, when Cicerelli was the mayor, inclusion in the disability community wasn't this big, and that's where I say it should be changed. So I just want to say thank you and have a good Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And thank you.
Anyone on my right? Anyone on my, Ray?
Yeah, I might be taking up 2 or 3 minutes. But first of all, our Disability Concern Board has been taking place with me and Cicerelli, who put this thing together. It's been like 14 years, I think, no, 10 maybe? Time does fly. A lot of things have changed during the 10 years. And I think that group has been doing a wonderful job moving things on the road. And it's an advisory group. It's not a soft advocacy group. So people have to understand what that is. It's an advisory. Like resources. A little bit about that anyway. And I want to continue on with, let's remember our loved ones. Because you know, on Channel 2, when this Jessica took her life, You don't know, no one should be judged, because you don't know what that person's been through. It can happen to one of your family, it can happen to your friends. Check with your loved ones. You don't know what that smile, they might be having a hard time and having a hard day. We should be kind to one another, not worrying about this and worrying about that. We need to focus about people, people-driven, people working together, people being treated equally, like people with disabilities, people with abilities, people with, doesn't matter. We all have something to share and bring to this table. And I will continue with my passion during the year 2019. With the Youth Group Assistance Program, I want to talk a little bit about that. That is a wonderful program. Gives me a chance to get out there and help people, help kids, give them a second chance. You know what? I'm getting an award in January for all the work, the hard work I've been doing to keep working out there and advocating for people. I'm people-driven, and that's the way it should be. So I am really big about that, and and my webinar has grown. I've gotten a lot of hits on that too, and I'm teaching a lot of people out there. It's about, we don't want to go backwards in the 60s. We are going to keep driving it. I wanted to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
One on my left. Yes.
I would like to take this time to thank the chief on getting the stop sign moved into its proper location on Hunter. I really appreciate that. And then I would ask the mayor if he could put in his monthly newsletter what the meaning of a stop sign is, because at that location, there's no such thing as stopping at the stop sign. I think the chief can vouch with that, his police. Thank you.
One on my right. Anyone on my left? Mr. Warren.
Yeah, just quickly, through the chair to the fire chief. Fire Station 3, what is the status of that ladder truck now?
Service and passed all DOT ladder testing.
Okay, how much did it cost us to get that truck back in service?
I think the total on it was somewhere around $25,000. I haven't done all the math yet.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone on my right? Yes.
Richard Graham from Westland, and also with Move Westland Forward. Congratulations, Councilwoman Tasha Green. Great event on Saturday, very well attended, and can't wait to attend next year. Really incredible what a first-year council person was able to pull off at that type of event, so great job. Some questions. Actually, going back to when I came up regarding item H, my questions actually weren't answered. I understand about the signs. They are 8 more signs. I do have the bid package. I have read that. My questions were, what are the costs for the 8 signs? That was not answered. And what is the ongoing cost for those 8 signs? That was not answered. Some other things were said, but not what I asked. From 2 council meetings ago, I asked this question, but there was no answer from the administration. The city of Westland had to supply a corrective action to the state of Michigan because of our low or poor unfunded pension obligation, one of the worst in the state, actually. The answer was to kick the can down the road for over 20 years and just to be about 50% funded. Did the state approve this plan? Citizens again sent pictures from over the weekend of the Detroit papers and the Observer being tossed all over town. It was August when this was approved by council. It is now December. What is the status? Really wishing everybody a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm sorry, forgot one item. Mayor Wild, good luck on your hard court press to be in Governor-elect Whitmer's administration. Maybe you have found another way to get out of Westland. I guess you were right in 2017 when you stated at the council meeting you have ambitions to move higher up within the political arena. Thank you very much.
Anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? Anyone else in the audience? We'll move on to comments from the administration. Mayor?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the representatives that were here tonight from the Westland Comets for bringing in those incredible trophies, and I know that we'll certainly have one of those on display here at City Hall. Vic Baird mentioned the Westland Meteors, and I know Councilman Landau is going to talk about that too. I just wanted to just tell them and all their families and everybody that was part of that incredible run from the Westland Meteors, which is one of Westland's Little League football teams, to go as far as they did. There were over 100 teams that were representing 30 states, all of Canada and Mexico. That's pretty incredible that those the youth from Westland went that far. So we're extremely proud of them, and I appreciate everybody that participated in making that possible. And I know that Vic Barra through the Wayne Ford Civic League and both our police and fire, both of their compassion and their compassionate groups helped with that a lot too. So pretty incredible stuff. So I don't think that we're done talking about that one yet. I want to thank everybody that participated either in the planning or in the just being there for the shopping spree at Westland Shopping Center over the weekend. This was the 5th year of our Shop and Dine campaign that ended with a shopping spree at the mall. This year, through an incredible partnership with WNIC and Jay Towers in the morning show, we had our biggest turnout ever. If you were there were hundreds and hundreds of people there. It was pretty cool to see the winner win the $5,000 shopping spree. The second prize was a $1,000 shopping spree at JCPenney's, and a new resident to the city of Westland. I had a chance to meet her, and she said they just bought a house actually down the road from City Hall, and their $1,000 shopping spree was probably going to get used in the appliance store at JCPenney's, so that was pretty cool. And then a couple other winners had $100 gift cards. So all in all, it was a great day. The city got a lot of positive publicity because of this, and I know that the Westland Shopping Center received a pretty good shot in the arm that day, so good job, everybody that had anything to do with that. My last two things are just to remind everybody that we have a holiday decorating contest that's underway. You still have time to go on the cityofwestland.com and nominate yourself or nominate a friend or a neighbor, anybody that you'd like to see. There's lots of different categories this year. There's still time to do that, and winners will be announced and recognized at the first council meeting of the year on January 7th. Then the last thing is I just want to recognize Barb Markham, our Senior Resource Director. I don't know how she did it, but she just pulled off the biggest Christmas holiday meal that we've ever had at the Friendship Center. Over 500 people were in attendance. She found parking spots for everybody. She found tables for everybody, and it happened just on the heels of Barb having a very personal loss in her family, and she is the ultimate professional. She did a great job, so everybody that participated in that event or had anything to do with it, great job on that as well. Thank you.
Anything from the city attorney's office?
Yes, thank you. I want to comment regarding the issue that's been raised about the newspapers which are distributed through the city. The ones I'm talking about are not the ones you subscribe to, but the ones that are placed on your driveway. So we've had a meeting with 5 representatives from Gannett, which is the free press related entity. The administration team was present, as well as Councilman Hart and Councilman Landau. We discussed with them the ordinance, its origin coming out of a case out of Kentucky. The ordinance does because of its support by the Sixth Circuit. We did some sparring about the legality of the Sixth Circuit case and the ordinance, but in any event, we had an opportunity to discuss the city's concerns that have been expressed to council members, in particular, when knocking doors through the campaign cycle. And most importantly, and this is the value of communication, is we learned some things which we're not aware of to council or administration. Gannett circulates that paper called the Sunday Select. So it's a little bit of news wrapped around some mostly advertising, and it's clearly an advertising vehicle for them. They distribute about 10,000 of those in the city of Westland on a weekly basis. And this business approach started in 2007, and at that point in time, they obtained 10,000 signatures from residents indicating an interest in having the Sunday Select delivered to them free of charge. So it is Gannett's position that everybody who gets tossed a paper on Sunday is at one point or another, through various mechanisms, authorized or opted in for that distribution. They assured us that their drivers do not carte blanche drive down the street and throw papers out the window, because we specifically asked that question because we felt that's how it seemed. And indeed, they have a relatively sophisticated mechanism in place, it seemed, for opting out of distribution of these papers, including a 800 number, which I'll give in a moment, for people to call in and opt out of the distribution, even if at some point 11 years ago somebody allegedly opted in. But then that information gets communicated to a, I'll call it an iPad, but some sort of tablet to the drivers, and that tablet is then used, it was explained to us, by the drivers to know where they're supposed to distribute and where they're not supposed to distribute those papers. We then had some discussions about, well, that's a nice system, how do you know it really works? And they explained to us some of their mechanisms for monitoring it, including some GPS tracking that they utilize on deliveries. But the opt-out number, should anybody who currently is receiving it or doesn't believe that they ever opted in, the way to get out of this is to call 800-395-3300. That's a automated system where you'll give your address, and that's really all. There's some additional information as to which paper it is you receive, but you don't have to prove you're the owner or the renter or anything else. You just call and give this address. We were informed that this Sunday Select business model of Gannett distributes 750,000 papers every weekend using this methodology, and if people want out, they want to take you off the list. So again, it's 800-395-3300. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Does that mean we're going to pull that ordinance? Because that's not what that ordinance said.
No, it does not mean we'll pull the ordinance. The ordinance was for unauthorized written material. So it had a methodology for if you weren't authorized to deliver the paper, then it had to go up on the porch. Here they claim that they have authorization for these specific homes, and that would take it around the ordinance. So the ordinance should stay in place, and it may be applicable to some folks, but I think this distribution, what we learned is that this distribution of about 10,000 papers apparently is tied specifically to authorizations for specific homes.
Just a comment to that, I think they're talking out both sides of their mouth because the same homes don't get the papers every week. And did they supply this list of 10,000 people who wanted it?
We did not ask them to deliver us the 10,000 names so that we could check them, because I don't know what I'm going to do with 10,000 names.
I just think they hoodwinked this, is all I'm telling you.
Well, I can assure you there was no hoodwinking going on. and that we battled back pretty hard on these issues. I have to say I was surprised to learn their position, and what they explained is they went to the mall or they went to Kroger's or somewhere and sat there and said, would you like a free paper? And people signed up for them.
And 20% might have been Westland residents?
No, these, again, Councilman, they claim they're tied to these specific homes. Now, we could obviously test that. We could get into litigation over this, and in that instance, we'd have a right to that information and to see those things. But I think it may be just as prudent to remind people how to opt out of the list. And if you've called and opted out of the list, I think the councilman may comment to you that they'd like to know that, so that if there's a subsequent delivery of the papers to you, then we have a different issue with that particular house.
I'm going to reread the ordinance. I believe the intent was for them not to be in the driveways and they had to be placed on the porch, but I'll take a look at it. Thanks.
We'll begin council comments. Councilman Johnson.
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate Councilwoman Green on her affair over the weekend. It was great. I got there late, but I did pass City Hall a couple times Saturday early. The place was packed, and they were still streaming in as I was leaving about 2:30. So you did a great job. I hope you do it again next year. Good. You did a good job. Just an update on the Goodfellows. I think we finished up the delivering today. Checked with Heather. They only had 610 children that request was made for this year. That's down considerably from 2 years ago. It was 980. Last year it was 8-something. So I think things are getting better out there. Not as many people need the help. They're going to try and change a way of getting to all these children next year, though. Canton does it where they ask businesses to adopt families, and they take the whole families. The fundraising is just part of it. Once they raise the funds, they got to go buy all this. This will cut down on fundraising if they can get it accomplished and do what they're doing in Canton. But great response. I think all the deliveries are made. The last 2 were made today, and I don't think anything else is on the horizon. And as I said, Jim, I'm not going to debate. You're the lawyer. I'm going to read that, and I'm sure the intent was that they would not be thrown in driveways, that they had to provide a box on the porch to put the paper in. But I'll get back with you on that. Other than that, I'd just like to wish everybody a safe and happy holiday. Everybody be careful out there. The streets are going to get crazy. Thanks.
Councilman Londa.
Thanks, President Godbout. I want to start off as well by thanking Mike and the Comments Organization. That was definitely unexpected, and we really appreciate it. And again, thanks for all the hard work that the Comments Organization and the Meteors Organization does for our children. I also want to mention the Westland Lions Pavilion won the American Public Works Association Project of the Year Award for 2018. As being a former chairman of the DDA, this was my first real project to be a part of, and I was able to work on it and couldn't be more proud that the city was awarded with this recognition. So I want to thank OHM, who I see is in the audience tonight, of all people. OHM Advisors, they were they were the designers, and it was constructed by Westland-based Solely Construction. So it was a team effort all the way around, and you all should be very proud. I also recently attended both the Deck the City Hall event and the Norwayne tree lighting event. Had a great turnout at both events, and I thought it was a nice touch that the mayor had the dignitaries on stage leading in the Christmas carols. I didn't realize, though, that Councilman Hart could sing like that. I think you're in the wrong business, buddy. And then as the Recco and the Meteors that won the World Championship, I actually traveled down to Canton, Ohio yesterday. Vic Berra came with me down there, and I appreciate him coming down there with me. We were able to see for ourselves all the hard work and dedication that these children put on. They beat a team out of New York called the Spring Valley Hornets. They had to win. We talked about the last council meeting. They had to win on a weekend in the regionals, and they came back this week. They played on Thursday. They beat a team out of New Jersey that was undefeated, and then on Friday beat a team out of New Mexico. Those scores were 20-0 and 20-8, and then last night's score was 20-0. So our team rocked, and again, I couldn't be more proud of all of them. And I want to thank Vic Berra and the Wayne Ford Civic League again for stepping up and donating funds to make sure these children can go down there and have housing and travel expenses, meals paid for, and it didn't end there. Vic decided to reach in his own pocket and pull out cash and buy every one of the children and the coaches a fleece sweater that said World Youth Junior Championships on there. Because all they really got, you think they won a world championship, you'd think that it's a big deal, right? They just got a little medal. So Vic stepped up and bought them all. You think you'd get a T-shirt or something, or a hat. A ring, something. They got a little medal. So actually, they got kind of a WWE championship belt too. So that was kind of cool. But that's only one of them. But anyways, thanks to Vic Barra. Also thanks to the Westland Westland Fire Administration Public Awareness Committee. Can you shorten that name a little bit, Chief? It's getting tough to say. But you guys also stepped up and donated half the proceeds or half the money to get those children down there. They wanted me to express thank you to you as well. Also like to thank Joanne Campbell. I had made a phone call to her last week. The Meteors needed a place to practice indoors. It's cold outside. They wanted to do some walkthroughs, and they needed a gym. Called Joanne Campbell. She said, we got a great community center. They can come on in. They did some chalk talk and some walkthroughs in there, and they went in the gym and practiced in the gym, and they said they were very happy with it, and they might even utilize that gym next year for indoor practices as well. So thank you to Joanne Campbell. As for the newspaper meeting, Jim Faustone, I kind of bowed to you earlier. You really represented us well. You did a great job going. He minced words a little bit. They went at it pretty hard this morning, so he really put up a good fight for us, and hopefully we can come to an agreement with these guys down the road here. But I'm going to read the exact language that they say is on these newspapers. I took a picture. I'm going to post it on my Councilman Mike Londo Facebook tonight. Allegedly, on the bag, the Select bag that they have, it's a pink bag. The wording says, Select is an edition of the Detroit Free Press. To temporarily suspend or cancel your subscription to Select, please call 1-800-395-3300. I know he already gave out the number, but that's the language they have on here. It's in fine print, really small, and it's also in the actual newspaper. They showed us a little small clipping of where it was. A couple more things. I also want to echo the mayor's comments. The $5,000 shopping spree giveaway at Westland Shopping Center was amazing success. There were, I think, thousands of people out there, Mayor. It was jam-packed. Look for the pictures on City of Westland Administration Facebook page. And then that really all ties into our Shop and Dine campaign, which is an annual campaign every year to encourage shoppers to promote our local businesses, but also encourage them to shop Westland this holiday season and every holiday season. Also want to thank Barb Markham, Donna Jackson, and their team, and all their volunteers. Great job with the Senior Center party once again. Over 500 people in attendance, music, food, prizes, dancing, sold out every year. So if you want to get in next year, you better get your tickets really early. And in closing, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It's been a great year, I think. It's been a pleasure working with the entire City Council and administration and working hard for our residents. I look forward to 2019. Thanks.
Councilman Hart.
Thank you, Council President. Where do we start? So first, the Westland Meteors. Again, just completely thrilled that they actually pulled that off, and thank you to Vic Barra, and thank you to Councilman Londo for always being such a strong source of support for them, as well as Mayor. My oldest son was a meteor. My youngest son was a comet. So we're a house divided. But we definitely stand behind both of our Westland teams, and I couldn't be more thrilled. I just wish my kid was on the team when they brought home the gold. But no, nevertheless, we still wear the jersey in pride, and it looks a lot like the Go Blue M, so I really like it. I wanted to also kind of address and ask a question through the chair. Before that, this whole unsolicited materials issue, everybody's been very frustrated about it. People have come up to the podium and spoke about it. That's a small fragment to what we heard at the doors, just like my colleagues have mentioned earlier. When we went out and met with all of you, same thing. I heard a lot of stories about these things are piling up, it's a problem. I didn't even ask for this paper. When I called the Free Press and got a hold of them, and I asked for this meeting that we had today, and I was really thankful that the attorney was there. I wasn't going to go in there alone. I could fight, but I needed a little bit of support. To my surprise, they said that at some point these addresses were all opted in, and I knew right away that the heart of our ordinance was to prevent these going on the ground, but really it's an unsolicited materials ordinance. Once they notified us, to our surprise, that they were showing up there, because at some point, whether the citizen knew or didn't know that they were filling out a card, they were opting into this program. At that point, the unsolicited materials ordinance has no teeth, because it is technically solicited. So my question is to the city attorney. Should our citizens decide to opt out of this circular, and it continues to land on their driveway as opposed to their front porch, which they can do still, at that point, they would be subject to the ordinance. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So step one, folks, you've heard it a couple times. Your step one right now is to dial that number. If you're having issues, I encourage you, please, to contact. You can email me directly. You can email the mayor's office. We kind of want to know about it, because if it's still happening and we don't know about it, we have to be able to start the process to start and enforce this. I got the impression clearly that they budget for litigation, and they intend to support their business, and their business is handing off these papers because it's paid for by the advertisers. It's a free service to you, but as we know, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Someone is paying for those papers to show up on their doorstep, and it's the advertisers. And then they sell that product by saying, Mr. Merchant, we deliver 10,000 homes in the city of Westland on a weekly basis. This is your fee. So they're incented to deliver those papers. They do have an opt-out program. They've given us the 800 number. Go ahead and use that 800 number. I'd like to see us on our side regiment that a little bit more. So I'll talk to the city attorney and figure out what we can do. But right now, at this juncture, if you opt out and you still receive it, I'd like to know about it. I'd like to know about it so that I can hand that off to the mayor, hand that off to the ordinance and neighborhood services, and Hassan and our neighborhood services team, and start the appropriate action. You guys spoke, we listened, and we want to make sure that we can do the job that you asked us to do, and I think that's fair. With that, I will stop being negative, and I will wish everybody a very happy, healthy, safe Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy Festivus. Thank you, Mike Carey. You're welcome. And a happy new year. Thank you.
Councilman Hammonds.
Thank you, Council President. I too want to echo the same as the rest of my council members. Congratulations to the meters. That's a great success, and let's keep it up. Let's bring back another one next year. I also too want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Holidays. Be safe out there. That's it for me.
Councilwoman Green.
Thank you, Council President. I would like to start by thanking Jaylee and Donovan for leading the pledge tonight. I would also like to thank everyone involved with the planning of the very first Westland Community Health Summit that I was able to do over the weekend. As several people have said, I was extremely grateful that it was very well attended. Several people during the event got registered for 2019 health coverage. I'm very pleased about that. There are many people in our country and in our area who still do not have affordable health care. And so to have Access present and doing that free of charge, I can't say how grateful I am. I also wanted to announce to the community that this will be something that I'm going to do annually as your councilwoman while I am in office. I will be doing this every year until my term is up. And I'm happy to announce that so far, 2019, the University of Michigan Hospital or Health System has already signed on, along with Beaumont Health System will be coming back. So we're going to make it even better in 2019. And I try to do a good job at providing a variety of screenings for people and other health resources. So if there was a certain screening that we didn't get this time, and I know dental and optical were two that I'm going to plan for 2019, but if there's any particular screening that you would like me to work on for the 2019 event, please do reach out to me. You can reach me at Councilwoman Tasha Green on Facebook. That's my Facebook page. Or you can call me directly at 734-828-7010. As your councilwoman, I definitely am going to do more than just sit here and be your councilwoman. So thank you so much for having faith in me, for the residents who supported me, and even those who don't. I'm very pleased to serve you as well. I'd also like to thank the sponsors, all of the elected officials and the providers who were present. Westland Police Department was present, did a great job, was very friendly. The Westland Fire Department taught free CPR classes, and also my sheriff and our county sheriff, Wayne County Sheriff Benny Napoleon, sent me two of my brothers in Brown, and those were Wayne County Reserve Sheriff deputies. They were present as well. Me being a Reserve Sheriff deputy, I'm actually wearing my badge tonight. But it was just was phenomenal. I was so stressed out. I actually got my blood pressure checked at the event because I'm telling you, I couldn't halfway sleep. I was so stressed out trying to raise the money for the food and to pay for it to be here at City Hall and everything else. But I'm very grateful for the fact that it did not cost the residents or taxpayers a dime. It was totally paid for by sponsorship. So thank you very much, and watch out 2019. And then as a final, the photos from the event will be online tomorrow on my Facebook page. Once again, Councilwoman Tasha Green. I'd also like to congratulate the Westland Meteors on a phenomenal job in being the World Championships. That's something that you can, they'll be telling their grandkids. So thank you to everybody who helped make that possible for them. And keep up the great work. And if I don't have a conflicting appointment tomorrow night, I will definitely plan on being there to watch the game. Okay, so I wanted to speak briefly through the chair to the city attorney in terms of the opt-out option. First, I would like to start by saying that the entire council was not given the invitation or even knowledge of this meeting with the newspaper company. I, for one, did not know. I'm assuming that others may not have known, but I know I was not made aware, and this is just another example of the selective choices that are made with which council people are able to participate on, whether it's commissions or now it's meetings with contractors. We are all at-large city council members. We do not have districts. We all should have had the opportunity to sit in on that meeting because we all get the same questions. I think it is totally disrespectful, once again, for you all to select certain council members and leave the rest of us out. There was no email sent to even give us an update on the conversation. So we're learning here tonight with residents that if you don't like having your yards plastered with newspapers, that you can opt out. Well, residents should not have to opt out. There is an ordinance in place. And the bottom line is, that is why I did not vote to approve the ordinance, because when it was written, my concern was, who does this apply to? Does it apply to the residents being fined, or does it apply to the businesses being fined? And there was conversation at council, because there was no notification that it was going on the agenda. There was conversation that the $75 fee or fine would apply to the companies, which in my opinion, had council been given the minimal respect to have a meeting to discuss what the fine should be set at and what it should look like, I would have said $75 is not enough for a company who continues to violate our ordinance. It should have been in the thousands of dollars to teach them a financial lesson, to where if it continues to happen, they would not continue to do it. But again, this is one of the things that there was conversation with certain council, and then it ended up on our agenda. Now that it is passed as ordinance, we're telling the residents to, pick up the phone and we're going to put the responsibility on you. No, they should not. And whoever was at that meeting, I heard you mention Westland, Nizette or some other, the offender in our city is the Westland Observer. Every week, they are plastering my community every week. I don't subscribe to them. And the bottom line is, we're paying them to do it, because they have a city contract. So the city of Westland is paying the Westland Observer to be a nuisance to our residents, and we're telling our residents to pick up the phone and opt out. It is inappropriate that we will not enforce this on this company. And I don't know what the relationship is or what the conversation is, but as a councilwoman, we should all have known what the conversation was. We should have made it plain that the residents come first, and this is our expectation. There should be litigation in place if it continues. And I would like to see in January, when the vote comes up, that we don't pay these newspaper companies to deliver for us. They do biased journalism because we're paying them. So of course it's going to be one-sided, and that is my opinion. And then we're paying them to plaster these newspapers. The Eagle did the same thing last year when we paid them thousands of dollars when they wrote that discriminatory article against Kevin Coleman and Peter Hertzberg, accusing them of being affiliated with Nazis and Ku Klux Klan, that was authored by the Westland Democratic Club President Arthur Warren, we paid the Eagle to do that. So it is inappropriate to tell residents, in my opinion, if they continue to violate the ordinance, you pick up the phone and we'll see what we can do from there. No, it should be, the law is the law. Let's enforce the law. So I'll move on from that. And finally, I would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Mr. Fasson.
First off, let me remind the residents what the ordinance actually says, because it is titled Unsolicited Written Materials within the city. And it defines unsolicited written materials as any written materials delivered to any premises without the express invitation or permission, in writing or otherwise, by the owner, occupant, or lessee of such premises. So 10,000 that we're talking about that are being delivered are not unsolicited materials because of the definition of the ordinance which this council adopted. Let me also point out that there were 2 readings, as there are of all ordinances. So there was a month of time in which, if the council wanted changes to the ordinance or to the damages, the fines allowed under this municipal civil infraction, there was time to do that before it was adopted. Now, it is a municipal civil infraction, so it cannot be thousands and thousands of dollars, because we as a city don't have the authority to fine somebody millions of dollars to stop them from doing what they're doing. It is also clear in the ordinance that unsolicited written materials placed at a premises creates a rebuttable presumption that the materials were placed at the premises by the owner, agent, manager, and/or authorized distributor of the business, product, good, service, message, or idea which is being advertised, promoted, endorsed, or conveyed in such materials. So there was no doubt on Gannett's part that if they did not have authorization to deliver these, that they were at risk under the ordinance. In terms of the attendance at this meeting, it was not set by the city council's office in terms of which council members attended. It was not set by the mayor's office. I believe it was Councilman Hart who made the original call to Gannett and made arrangements for the meeting. So it was not another example of my office somehow being biased in setting meetings, which is what the implication was in the comments. There are, to the extent you have issues with other folks who are delivering these papers that maybe don't have authority or sign off from somebody making it as solicited materials, then the ordinance can be moved forward against those entities. I do think if they have indeed been solicited materials, then the right thing for the city to do is to encourage people who probably don't realize they can opt out to go ahead and opt out. We had a robust discussion about how it is not human nature to pick that paper up and look for the way to opt out. It is human nature to pick that paper up and throw it in the trash can as quickly as you can because you didn't really want it. So that's why we're promoting the 800 number, that if people want to opt out, then that's what they should do. And as the councilman said, hey, if you call 800-395-3300 and they continue to deliver to you, let the council know, because at that point it would be unsolicited materials and the ordinance would have applicability. Thank you.
Through the chair to the city attorney, if I get a newspaper in my driveway every week, 2-3 times a week, and so does my neighbors, that's unsolicited if I didn't subscribe. They should have to prove to us that these 10,000 people said I want it. The responsibility and obligation of proof should be on them, not our residents. It is disrespectful for them to continue to do this. And it's always, that I have seen, the Westland Observer or whichever newspaper company we are paying, the city is paying, those are the ones who continue to do it. I don't have a problem with the Westland Observer or the Eagle or anybody else, but we should be doing more than setting up meetings and only this friend or this person or this council. We are all at large. We should have all been at that meeting, and we could have came to a meeting of the minds and walked away to the public as a unified front with a plan. Now, you all are introducing a plan that I don't agree with. So here we are yet again. And in terms of the bias decision, no, it has never been you directly, but you are aware per several emails and discussions of biased decisions and activities that have directly related to me in the past. You know that. So no, I'm not accusing you of being biased, but there should, in my opinion, everyone on council should have had an opportunity to sit in on that discussion because we all get these questions. So that is my point. I feel that anything that you did not describe to, especially these newspapers, if I'm not a customer and you continue to do it, it is unsolicited, and they should have to either prove that I asked for it along with everybody else in the city or pay the cost. And that is my opinion. Thank you.
Councilman Hersberg.
Thank you. Well, I got to agree with Councilman Johnson and Councilwoman Green on this. Our intent was to stop that kind of delivery entirely. So, you know, if we want to relook at amending that ordinance to see if we can still do it, you know, I'm in support. Everybody on this council's knocked doors. You've gone through the neighborhoods. They're saying they got 750,000 opt-ins. You know, that's not possible. 10,000 in Westland alone. It was said that they don't just drive down the street and do every house. You don't go down the street and get every single resident on that street to opt in. That never happened, and we should make them prove it. I look forward to more conversation on this because we made a promise to the residents that we were going to take care of it. Other than that, I'll just congratulate the meteors, especially the coaches, the team, the parents, everybody that got the kids down there. Congratulations on your victory, and then Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
I'd like to start this evening by thanking Jay Lee and Donovan, the two students from this Wayne Westland Schools, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. In regards to the meeting that happened with Gannett, we could all not be present at it, or it would be a violation of the Open Meetings Act. There can be no more than 3 council members at any meeting outside of a public meeting. So to say that every council member should have been at this meeting would have been a violation of the Open Meetings Act. I too would like to congratulate the Westland Meteors for their outstanding season and their accomplishment of becoming the world champs. They will have their names in the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. So it's a great honor for them, and it's a great thing for the city of Westland that we have such great sports teams and great volunteers. All of these, both the Comets and the Meteors, are run by volunteers. And these are parents that put in a lot of time to work with these kids, develop their skills, and put together a winning product. So hats off to both organizations for all the work that they do with the youth in this community. I too was at the shopping spree, and I spoke with the management of the mall. They were thanking the city for working with them again on this event. The turnout there was great. What was even better was the number of people you saw walking around with bags from all of the various stores in the mall. So it accomplished its goal of increasing people shopping at the mall and getting people out to support our local businesses. I'd like to also welcome Councilwoman Kelly Skiff from the city of Wayne for being here this evening. And I would also like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a happy, safe, and prosperous New Year. Is there a motion to adjourn?